Good morning. We're on Masechet Eruvin. We're on Masechet Pesachim. Amud Yomi. We are on Daf Chav Gimel. No. Yes, Chav Gimel Amud Bet. Now, the way the Gemara works, sometimes you have a whole new page and it's independent of what was before, and sometimes it's a hemshech of a few pages. So right now we're in the middle of a hemshech of a few pages. So we're going to say now, it's if you know the last few dapim, it's going to go quick. If not, it might be a little hard. So if you missed a few pages or missed a page, hold on. But I'll try to do the best I can to explain. We had, if we remember well, a machloket Cheskia and Rabbi Abahu. Whenever the Torah says that you cannot eat something, lo tuchlu, according to Cheskia, it means lo tuchlu. I want you guys to get this. You with me, Chaim? When it says lo tuchlu according to Cheskia, that's exactly what it means. Don't eat. When it says, but there's one place in the Torah where it says very something interesting. Lo ye'achel. What is ye'achel? Doesn't mean do not ye'achel, make it be eaten. Why? What does that mean? So it says Rabbi Cheskia, based on a certain limud of a certain pasuk, it says that means you cannot benefit from it. No hana'ah. Correct? That's the machloket. Rabbi Abahu, on the other hand, says no. All the languages of lo tuchlu means don't have benefit. Don't eat and don't have benefit. That's Rabbi Abahu. So Rabbi Cheskia says only bar yachel, lo yachel, and everything else means just don't eat it. And Rabbi Abahu means lo tochal, lo tuchlu, lo ba, lo yuchlu, all means don't have benefit as well. Okay? How does Rabbi Abahu know that? Well, there's two psukim which he knows it from, and you can learn from either one. I'm not going to go into that. And one pasuk is nevela, and one pasuk is trefa. In the nevela, an animal just dies of a heart attack. That is not kosher to eat. That's called the nevela. This nevela, the pasuk says, don't eat it, and then it says, lager titenena, umachor lenochi, or sell it to a non-Jew, or give it to a ger. Give it to a not a ger tzedek, a ger toshav, a ger that is living in Eretz Yisrael and following 7 mitzvot Noach. Why do you tell me there that I have to give it to him? Why does that say that? Must be in another place I can't sell it. If here you're telling me don't eat and sell it, must be all the other times it says don't eat, it means I can't sell it. That's Rabbi Abahu. Another way of learning about Rabbi Abahu is because maybe that pasuk you can't learn from, because Rabbi Yehuda doesn't learn from that pasuk. The reason is because there it's maybe not a permission, it's a limitation. I'll explain. You have a dead animal that fell on the ground, show? Don't eat it. Sell it to the goy, give it to the convert. Okay, why are you telling me that here? It must be you can't do that in different places. Or, doesn't mean, and that's by the way, even though it says sell it to the convert, sell it to the goy and give it to the convert, you can actually do either one. And why did it say in that order? Precedence help out a convert. Help out a ger toshav, help him out. Okay? But you can do either thing. So if I need to allow you permission here, that means that you don't have permission somewhere else. Why do you have to tell me I'm allowed to sell it? It means I can't sell it other way. Rabbi Yehuda learns in that pasuk, no, you gotta bidafke sell it to a goy and bidafke give it to a convert. You can't mix and match. So maybe it's limiting. Maybe that pasuk you can't learn that from it.
Sell it to a goy and
give it to a ger toshav. Okay, and maybe it's limiting. Maybe it means that in all the other cases in Torah, you do any benefit you want, but here I'm limiting your benefit to specifically giving it away, which your neighbor is going to be happy if you give him a present, but you're not going to make as much money. So maybe you can learn from there, and therefore, according to that opinion, you'll learn a different way, which was the way Rabbi Yehuda learned. The pasuk says, when it comes to a taref, bas bema, what did the pasuk say? Basar. I'll read you the pasuk what it says. You can just hold on for a second. Anshe kodesh tiyuni ubasar besadeh trefa lo tochlu. Listen well. A lot of things going on here. Basar trefa lo tochlu. Basar besadeh trefa lo tochlu. Meat that is taref. Taref is not it died on its own. Some animal gored it, killed it. That's basar basadeh in the field. Trefa, if it's taref, lo tochlu. La kelev tashlichun oto. Give it to the dog. Give it to the dog. La kelev tashlichun oto. What is that word oto? That you can give and you can't give something else. So from here we see, according to the Rabbi Abahu, the way the Rabbi Yehuda explains it, or the way in Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, that you can have benefit from different things. Only a trefa you can have benefit from. So these are the two schools, Rabbi Cheskia and Rabbi Abahu. That's all we said the last few days. You guys got it so far? Mm-hmm. Now, then we said that there was a whole pasuk when it comes to chelev. Now, of course, in this shita, you're allowed to benefit from nevela. You guys got that, right? So even though you can't benefit from all the other things, a dead animal, you can benefit from, the pasuk clearly says. Then we said yesterday in Shitat Rabbi Yossi that there's an extra pasuk permitting the benefit of chelev. Chelev is fats of an animal. Even a kosher animal that dies, if it's a nevela, or even a regular kosher animal that you shechted properly, you got to open it up. And certain things you can't eat. You can't eat the gida nashe. It's like a big vein, a big ligament going down the leg. You got to take it off. And certain fats you can eat. Certain fat you can eat. Certain fats you can eat. So there's a pasuk that says you're allowed to have benefit from the fats. So that's what. So now we have an extra. That's Rabbi Yossi what he says. Okay. So that's what we're holding over here. We're at Chav Gimel Amud Bet. First one in line is Rabbi Yossi Agnini. Eshkachan chelev. You guys have it. Next to the Tosfot says bebeima. Tosfot says bebeima miyalo ishtare. See it? On the right side, when Chav Gimel Amud Bet, there's the second Tosfot. Right corresponding to the second Tosfot, the first one in line is Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi Agnari eshkechan chelev desharia rachamana be'ana. So now we see that we learned yesterday that there's a pasuk that comes to permit chelev. It says in the pasuk, don't eat it. Don't eat chelev. And then it says you can do melacha with it, you can have benefit from it. So if the Torah says you cannot benefit from chelev, and that you can't eat chelev, and then it says you can have benefit from it, so now Rabbi Yossi says, yes, we need to find an extra pasuk to say that you can have benefit on chelev. The Gemara says, Ela gidana gid neima de'asur. If that's true, we have never found a pasuk that permits gidna nashe. There's never any, according to the opinion that says you can have benefit from a nevela, you can have benefit from chelev. We never found a pasuk to say that gida nashe is allowed to have benefit. So not only you can't eat it, and you can't sell it to a factory to make plastic out of it. The Gemara says neima de'asur. So is it forbidden gida nashe according to this opinion? Ibait ema achinami de'asur. Yes, it's forbidden. V'ibait ema maitila bikar v'chomen. Uma chelev shanosh karet mutar be'ana. 1 second. Chelev is, what's the prohibition from eating chelev? It's a isur karet. Don't forget, there are a few prohibitions in Torah. There's karet, there's chaimita, there's lo taseh. The highest one is karet. It means being severed off at the source. The neshama is being severed off. So eating chelev is a chayav karet. If we have a pasuk that permits chelev, that's mutar be'ana, gid she'eno anosh karet lo kol sheken. So the gid, kol sheken, that it's going to be mutar be'hana. It's true we don't have a pasuk, but they're both forbidden to eat. And one is forbidden to eat, and you give permission of hana, even though if you eat it, it's chayav karet. So for sure, the gid that's only a lo taseh, it's not chayav karet. So for sure, you're going to have a permission to be able to use it, benefit.
Just when you're with karet, someone, there's always room for teshuvah.
Of course.
Or there's no teshuvah.
There's teshuvah for everything.
So when you say when the neshama is karet, what happens to that neshama?
So it depends. If he leaves the world without tshuva.
So if he leaves it without tshuva, but
sure.
if he does the teshuvah.
There's tshuva for everything. There is repentance for everything. Okay?
So somebody carrying le réseau avec. Après, il peut acheter une nouvelle puce, mais pour l'instant, il n'y a pas de réseau.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so you guys got that? So let's just be clear on that. According to Rabbi Abahu, whenever the Torah says lo tochlu, it means prohibiting also benefit. Nevela, it's written lo tochlu, but it permits benefit. The pasuk says you can sell it or give it away. When it comes to chelev, we found another pasuk that permits benefit. So chelev is permitted with benefit as well, even though it says lo tochlu. Gid anashe, there is no pasuk. So is it forbidden? Well, maybe it's forbidden, or maybe it's permitted. Why will it be permitted? It's called the kal v'chomer. If chelev is forbidden to eat, and eating it is chayav karet, gid, which is forbidden to eat, but it's only a lo ta'aseh. Well, if chelev is already so strict and so machmir that it's permitted to have hana, so gid also. Rabbi Shimon dasar. Now we learned before that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said that gid and asher is forbidden to have hana from. You can't have hana. How does he learn that? So why doesn't he not use this kal v'chomer? According to Rabbi Shimon, he says you cannot benefit from a gid. Why not? The kal v'chomer is very good. Answers the Gemara, because we can undo this kal v'chomer. We can actually show that gid is more machmir. How does kal v'chomer work? If you can pick up a chair, for sure you can pick up the table. Because the table is more heavy. So if already gid chelev is... huh?
If you pick up the table,
Sorry, my mistake. If you can pick up a table, for sure you can pick up a stair. If chelev is already mutter, so for sure gid is mutter. But what if I show you that gid is more machmir? What if I show you that gid is more... It's not a regular chair. It's a chair that's worth a thousand. Gid is for sure doraita, but it's only lo taseh. It's a lav. What happens if a person eats a gid? He gets 4 to 39 lashes. What happens if a person eats chalev? It's karet. So if chalev is already mutter behana, kol sheken that gid is going to be mutter behana.
Is doraita also?
Of course.
Ah, okay.
They're both doraita. But the Gemara says we can show you that gid is more strict. How? Ikar mivrach. Ma de chalev sheken utar. Miklano etzel chaya. Interesting. You know, whenever there's 2 types of animals. An animal that accepts domestication, not domestication, but basically it's a passive animal, like a cow. What do you call it?
Le joug in French, c'est le joug.
Very nice. And certain animals, you're never going to tame them. They're never going to listen to a person. A sheep listens to a person. A cow listens to a person. A deer is running away. Chelev is only asur in be'erema. Chelev is not asur when it comes to a chaya. A chaya, the chelev is isur. So why are you telling me that chelev is more machmir? It's more mekel. Because in chaya it is permitted. Understand? If in chaya it's permitted, that means that it's more lenient. So you can learn out a kal v'chomer. If you can pick up the table, you can pick up the chair. You don't understand. This is a 1,000-pound chair. This chair weighs 1,000 pounds. Not a regular chair. The chelev is more meker. The gid is more machmir. Because the gid is never permitted anywhere. It's by a chaya and by a be'ema. That's also asur. Tomar begid shlotar michlalo. It's a chaya. So what does the other opinion say? So how would the other opinion learn that out? How does Rabbi Yosef Galili learn it out that we do have the kal v'chomer? V'idach b'me'ema kamrinan, b'me'ema mi'ah ka'ishtare. You're right. I'm not talking about the chelev. I'm not talking about the gid of a chaya. I'm talking about the gid of a be'ema. A gid of a be'ema. What's the halacha? It's mutar kal v'chomer from the chelev. I'll explain one more time. The chelev is asur karet. The chelev could be in a be'ema and the chelev could be in a chaya, a sheep and a deer. Okay, there's chelev in both of them. Now, what's the halakha in karet? Karet here, and here it's mutar. You're actually allowed to eat it. On the chay, you're allowed to eat it.
You're allowed to eat
it. Yes, and here
have an hour eat.
You're allowed to eat it. It's not assumed. Chelev in a chay is mutar. Okay, it's kosher. It's kosher. So now, what it means is, so what are you allowed to benefit from these?
The difference between a be'ema and a chaya?
Yes, a be'ema means a shepherd will tame him and he'll follow the shepherd. A be'ema is a sheep, a be'ema is a cow.
So they're both kosher animals.
One is a
and one is a
chay. A chay is going to run away. The deer is not going to listen to nobody. He's going to run away, okay. Right? But it's a kosher animal.
Okay.
So you have the chelev of both. One is, so what do we want to know? Is chelev asur to eat? Yes. Can you benefit from chelev? Yes. What about a gid? We have no pasuk that allows benefit. Well, it depends. We could say kal v'chomer. What's the kal v'chomer? That chelev is karet and you allow. For sure, gid is lo taseh, we're going to allow. Or opposite. No, chelev is more lenient. Chelev is here. Because be'ema is asur and chaya is mutar. But gid is asur in both ways. So you can't learn out gid from chelev, or at least we can learn in one place. That's what Rabbi Yossi Galili is going to say. In one place I can learn. The chelev of a be'ema is asur, it's karet. The chelev of a chaya is asur. The gid here, and it's mutar be'ana, so the gid of a be'ema is going to be mutar be'ana. And the gid of the chaya might not be mutar be'ana. Let's go weiter. Now, this is very interesting. We went through 2-3 pages of Rabbi Abahu Cheskia. We spoke about Pesach, Shon Niskan, we spoke about Truma, we spoke about Sheretz, all kinds of things. Where again, what's the rule we're talking about over here? Rabbi Cheskia says that Lo Tochal means only don't eat. And Rabbi means Lo Tochal also means don't benefit. The thing is, we brought like 5 problems on this. 5 kushot. Oh yeah, you say Lo Tochal, but here I cannot benefit. You say Lo Tochal, I cannot benefit. Here you say Lo Tochal, I cannot benefit. Every place we saw that you cannot benefit because there's a pasuk allowing it, which is it here. Chelev, you cannot benefit. Lo Tochal, you cannot benefit because there's an extra room in the pasuk to say that's mutar. Actually, there's going to be no difference between Chelev and practical. between Cheskia and Rabbi Abahu, there's actually no practical difference we're going to see now. Let's see that together. The Gemara says, Mirchidei udvinau konani karai. We ask kushiot from many psukim on Rabbi Abahu. Vishanineu Cheskia v'Rabbi Abahu. And both were able to answer. We asked kushiot on Rabbi Abahu. We asked kushia on Cheskia. Oh yeah, Cheskia, you cannot benefit when it says lo tuchlu. What about this? What about this? What about this? And what about this? Here it's written this, here it's written this, here it's written this. So we answered up. So actually, no one wins. No one wins. But the Gemara just says, Cheskia v'Rabbi Abahu b'mayim prigim. So what is the machlokis? Where's the machlokis? We're going to see in a second. We're not there yet. But the Gemara says, b'mayim prigim. B'chametz b'pesach v'Rabbi d'Rabbanan. Really, it comes out the same halacha. Just which pasuk do you learn it from? The only place where you actually cannot benefit is only two places. Believe it or not, in the whole Torah where you can't eat something, not benefiting is only in two places, which is chametz and pesach and shor haniskan. An animal that's a murderous animal, we got to put him down. A shor that killed, we got to kill the animal. That whole animal is forbidden to eat and use the leather. Can't use anything from it, you got to burn it up. No benefit from that animal. That's the only two places. So where does Cheskel learn it from, and where does Rabbi Abba learn it from? By the way, there is one opinion of Rabbi Yossi that says you're allowed to benefit from Chametz on Pesach. So we're not going like that. But here, Bepesach aribadi Rabbanan, Beshor Aniskal varibadi Divrakol. Cheskel nafik lemilo ye'achen. So how do we know that you cannot benefit? Cheskel learns from the pasuk lo ye'achen, because all it is for Cheskel, whenever the pasuk says lo ye'achen, it means no benefit. Rabbi Abba nafak min nevela. And Rabbi Abba learns it from the concept of nevela. Meaning, according to Rabbi Abba, anytime it's written don't eat, it's forbidden, unless we give permission in the pasuk. So you have 7 psukim, 7 times it's written don't eat, but in 5 psukim it says, but here lachem, here lecha, here you're allowed to have benefit on 5 psukim. On 2, there's no permission in the pasuk. So from the concept of nevela, that the Torah needs to tell you, don't eat nevela, sell it. That means all the other time I can't sell it. So if there's no permission to sell or to give, then it's permitted. It's forbidden. It's guilty until proven innocent. Whereas Rabbi Abahu just learns from the pasuk itself. That's what we're saying here. But the Gemara says, the Gemara says, Michdei ben nemar isurim be'ana mai benayu. 1 second. So let's go. If we go through everything, all the things that are permitted be'ana, they're permitted be'ana for Rabbi Cheskel and Rabbi Abu. The ones that are forbidden be'ana, chametz and shor, they're also forbidden both for Rabbi Cheskel and Rabbi Abu. So what is the machloket between them? Mai benayu. Where does there come out a practical difference? There's one place where you can have hana'ah for Cheskia only, and you can have hana'ah for Rabbi Abahu. Savar, Cheskia savar lo yacher, nimaute hane, oto nimaute chunin shnishcheta be'azara. And I'll explain. So, Pesach and Shor, it says lo yacher. Don't eat it, no benefit. And what about chunin shnishcheta be'azara? That means the guy lives in Ashdod. He brings an animal to Yerushalayim. He comes in the Beit Mikdash, he shechs the animal. What's the halakha with that animal? Are you allowed to eat it? You can't eat it. The halakha is you can't eat it, but it's derived from a pasuk. We spoke about this 2 days ago. It's derived from a pasuk in a backwards fashion. It's from a diuk, an inferration of a pasuk. It says, when you'll have the Beit Mikdash or the Mishkan, you can shecht your food outside of the Beit Mikdash. From here we learn you can eat food that was shechted outside the Beit Mikdash. From here we learn you can't eat food that is shechted inside the Beit Mikdash. So far so good? Mm-hmm. Now, yes. I'll read you the pasuk that we spoke about 2 days ago. It's on Chabet. The pasuk says, it's in Dvarim Yudbet. Ki yichak mimecha makom. You guys with me? When you will be far from the Beit HaMikdash or the Mizbeach. Zavachta, you will shecht, ve'achalta, then you're allowed to eat. So what he says, so what does the Gemara say? Birichuk makom, anuchutz l'machan shniya, ki yichak mimecha makom, ve'zavarta ve'achalta. When you will be far from Jerusalem, you can shecht and eat. Outside. That means you can't shecht and eat in Jerusalem, your food. Of course you can do a korban. So you can't take your own sheep, go to Jerusalem to the Bet Shechter and make a barbecue. I'm just hanging out over here. Hey, buddy, here it's only korbanot. You know the restaurant that only doesn't let you come in with your own food? No, you want to come in here, you buy food, our food. You got to buy the korban if you want to come to Bet Mikdash. From here we see that you can't eat your foods that were shechted inside the Bet Mikdash. You guys got it? Is there any indication over here of not benefiting? No indication whatsoever. Because it's not even written lo tochal or lo yachel. All it's written is eat this. If I eat this, I can't eat this. So how are we going to get to an isur hana'ah? How are we going to get
Every time we say the word
lo yachel?
No.
Lo tochel means have benefit.
Abba is
Rabbi, but we're not going Rabbi Abba. We're going to Cheskia.
okay.
According to Cheskia, when it says eat it, just don't eat it, just means don't eat it. Benefit is not a problem. And here it doesn't say don't eat it. It says eat this, and from here you understand you can eat this.
Yeah.
Okay. So now how are we going to get to an isur hana'ah over here? So Rabbi Abba, so Cheskia is going to go to the pasuk of, which is the pasuk of the trefa. Remember the trefa? Basar trefa basadeh, it says. Tashlichun oto. Here's what it said. If you have an animal, Shaul, you have a sheep, and it became taref. The tiger came and gored it. It's dead. You can't eat it. Nakerev tashlichun oto. You don't want to know what to do with it? The dogs didn't bark when we left Egypt. Give it to the dog. Give him a service. That you can give to the dog. You can't give something else to the dog. Okay. From this pasuk, actually, we learn another isur which is not written anywhere. Torah Shabbat Peh. What is it? Why does the pasuk say basadeh? If you have a sheep in a field, but one second, if I have it in my enclosure, it's not a isur. Let's say the cheetah jumps over the fence and gores your thing. It's also you're allowed to eat it, then of course you can't eat it. So what is that language basadeh? So the Gemara learns out of Masechet Chulin an interesting thing. Here, it's coming to teach you another isur Torah. When an animal left its enclosure, not this one, because there's another animal that is mutter when it's in its enclosure. It's forbidden when it's outside of its enclosure.
When it's killed inside the enclosure.
Exactly right. If you take an animal, Yosef and Tzaddik saw his brothers eating live animals. Some Mifachshim explain, show that what were they eating? So some explain that when you have a mother and you shech the mother and you find a little fetus inside, live, it's alive, you're allowed to eat it live. Ever mina chai. You don't have to shecht it because it was part of the mother and now it's shechted already. It's considered shechted. Interesting halakha. Now, what about if while you're shechting it, the leg kicks out of the womb and the leg is, and you shecht it. So the leg you can't eat because the leg is not inside the mother. Where do we learn that from? From this pasuk. Basadeh. When the animal, there's an animal which is taref basadeh, means outside of its enclosure. So from here we learn that an animal that's outside of an enclosure is taref from that pasuk. But guess what? Since we told you if the lion gores your sheep, you can have benefit from it. And also from that same pasuk, we learned that if the animal sticks his leg out of the mother's womb when we're shechting it, you can eat it, but you can have benefit. What does the word oto do in that pasuk? To tell you that one you can have benefit, and there's another one you can have benefit. Which one? Something that's also left its vicinity, its enclosure. That's the animal that left from Haifa to Jerusalem that you shechted it. Not only you can eat it, you can't have benefit from it. That's the only difference between Cheskia and Rabbi Abahu. That's it. We were thinking that Cheskia is going to come out more lenient. Cheskia comes out more machmir. And Rabbi Abahu, what does he do with that? Now don't forget, Rabbi Abahu uses that word oto to tell you that in general you can't have benefit unless there's a permission. So he already used that word oto. So what about this adachah? So the Gemara answers. Oh. Rabbi Abahu savar oto lemaute hane chuni. So what do we do with the word oto to say that Pesach is asur be'anah, chametz and shor niskal is asur be'anah? Chulin shenishchetu bazara lav doraita ninhu. And there's no pasuk to tell you that your animal that you shechted in the Beit Mikdash from Haifa is asur be'anah. It's actually mutar be'anah. There's no pasuk. It's mutar midoraita and the Rabbanan it's asur. So therefore, Rabbi Abahu uses that pasuk for something else. Very simply put, to recap all of this, okay? The Torah could tell you don't eat in two ways. It could tell you the standard way, lo tochal, lo tochlu, or it could say a funny way, lo ye'achen. So Rabbi Abahu says, since it goes out of its way and says lo ye'achen, and for another reason that I'm not going to say now, it means don't eat, don't benefit. It's on the word itself. Okay? The word itself means badi achel, don't eat. Has nothing to do with any permissions. Rabbi Abahu says no. All the words are the same. They mean don't eat. But since one time the Torah says that kelev tashlichin oto, this animal that got gored, throw it to the animal, throw it to the dog. The kelev tashlichun, and then the word oto. The word oto means only this I can throw to a dog. Other times it's written lo tochen, I can't throw it to a dog. He's learning out that lo tochan means no permission to do anything unless there's a specific heter. That'll be 5 out of 7, and 2 out of 7 won't have that heter. So Rabbi Cheskel says, on the word itself, I know it's forbidden be'achila and be'hana'ah, Pesach and Shol HaNiskar, and Rabbi Abahu, it's by default. Everything is asur until we permit it. So everything's asur, 5 I give permission. See the difference, God? Now, the only difference will be if the word lakerev tishlichun oto for you, Rabbi Abahu, is learned to teach you a permission, so you can't learn it for anything else. So I do nothing with that pasuk. But according to Cheskel, that the word, the badi yachen, is on the word itself, on the animal itself, and the Pesach itself, that it's asur be'achila. So the lakerev tishlichun oto is an extra word in the Torah. So that extra word in Torah is coming to teach you another permission. Here you cannot benefit, and you cannot benefit in chunin shenishchatu b'azara. If you're in Haifa, you bring your sheep, you shechted, barbecue, you bought from the guy korban. I'm eating everything. Your Kohen's going to eat half your meat. Me, I'm eating the whole thing in the mikdash. Sorry, buddy, you can't. Not only you can't eat it, you got to throw it in the garbage. You can't even sell it to a goy. That's the only difference. Okay, let's go back to it. The Gemara says, Yati vahu mirabanan kami de Rabbi Shmuel. So a certain rabbi sat in front of Rabbi Shmuel, Bar Nachman. V'yati v'kamlim shmid Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. And he said over teaching in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Minay nikol yisurin shebatorah diki eichi dasurin b'achila achenam yasurin be'anam. So now we're going to have like a middle ground. Between this Tana, we're going to have a middle ground, a new way of learning Isur Hana. Okay? How do we know that every time it's written, don't eat, you can have Hana'ah? Because of course there is no permission. So we're going like this. Guilty until proved innocent. If you can't eat, you can't benefit. Until the Torah gives a permission. On chametz there's no permission. And on shor there's no permission. Where do we know it from? Menayin tipugle milo yachen. Learn Cheskia. Lo yachen. Lo yachen isur achina mashma isur anah no mashma. Sorry. Lo yachen only means don't eat. Doesn't mean anything else. So he doesn't hold like Cheskia. Tipugle menevela. Okay. So learn from nevela. Remember we said nevela? When the animal dies on its own, give it to a goy, give it to a ger, or sell it to a goy. If that means do either one, that means why are you singling out permission over here? That means lo bal tochal means no permission until I give you permission. Okay, learn from here. That's a good way of learning. Savala ki Rabbi Yehuda, damar dvarim ki katvan. No, because Rabbi Yehuda learns over there that those things are specific. You got to give to the ger, you got to sell to the goy. So maybe it's limiting permission like we said before. You guys got that? Yeah? It's limiting permission. So you can't learn from here that everything else is asur. Here I give permission, everything else is asur. No, maybe everything is mutar and here I'm machmir on you. Here I'm telling you, you can do whatever you want with this, but here you're only going to give it to the ger. So you can't learn from there also. Okay. So learn from where Rabbi Yehuda learns. Where? Minakerev tashtichin oto, like we just learned now. The trefa, the gored animal, give it to the dog. That means here I can give the dog, and everywhere else I can't give the dog until you give me a heter. And Pesach and Shol, there's no heter. Problem, because he says, like Cheskel says, that chulin that was shechted outside, that from Ashdod you shechted in the Beit Mikdash, it's a sumi doraita, and you need a pasuk. So I use that pasuk for something else. So I have no pasuk so far, according to this opinion of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. So the Gemara is going to answer. Interesting thing. So here the pasuk is saying something interesting. There is a korban chatat. Korban chatat There's two types of korban chatat. Here we're talking when it has to be done on the outside of the Bet Mikdash, not in the Echan. The Echan is the first building. You know, there's an inner Mizbeach and there's the outer Mizbeach. The chatat offering on the outer Mizbeach, you can't bring the blood inside the holy place. You can't bring it in the Echan. If you bring the blood inside, you just ruined your whole korban. You gotta burn the whole korban. You put it off limits. It's not. You're not allowed to have it. You're not allowed to have it anymore. So let's read that pasuk together inside. The pasuk is pasuk Hey in Torah. Kol chatat asher yuva midama el oel moed. If you bring into the oel moed the blood of a chatat, dekaper b'kodesh lo teachel ba'esh tisaref. You just ruined it. You gotta burn it. What is burning? No hana'ah. So here we see an interesting pasuk. We're teaching something, but that's really a redundant pasuk. We don't need to teach this. We know it from somewhere else. Why do we need to say it? She'en tamun omar be'esh tisaref. You don't need to teach be'esh tisaref. Uma tamun omar be'esh tisaref. Im enu inyan negufa. You don't need it for itself because we already learned from somewhere else. I'm going very quickly. Dichtiv ineh soref. Moshe Rabbeinu in the Miluim, in the 8 days where we're inaugurating the Bet Mikdash, there was the korban of Nachshon ben Aminadav, which they did not eat the animal. They didn't eat the korban. They were supposed to eat the chatat, but they burnt the chatat. And Moshe Rabbeinu got upset. Remember that? It's in which parsha it is? Shmini? Can't remember. Moshe Rabbeinu got upset. Let's read that pasuk together. Vav. Pasuk says, "Vetzir chatat darash Moshe." Moshe Rabbeinu says, "V'ine soraf, you burnt it. V'itzof al Elazar v'Itamar min Aaron hatorim. Nemo, madua lo achaltem. You should have eaten it. The blood didn't go in, so you shouldn't have burnt it. Meaning you guys did it right, so you should have eaten that chatat." It's in pasuk vav. Why did you eat it? Why didn't you eat it? Why did you burn it? From here we infer that if you do it wrong, you got to burn it. Why did you burn it? You should have eaten it. That means that if you would have done it wrong, you got to burn it. So why does the pasuk say again, you got to burn it if you do it wrong? We already know it. So there's a pasuk coming to tell us twice, burn it. Not needed. We already know that it's burned. So why is the extra pasuk telling you that if you have the blood, the chatat, which became asur, because the blood is off limits, you can't eat it and you got to burn it. Don't eat it and burn it. Why you don't eat it and burn it? Well, the Gemara says, if you don't need it to teach itself, tinayon inyan kol isurin shebatorah, v'imenu inyan nachila, tinayon inyan isur hana'ah. Ima kan besrifa, kol isurin shebatorah besrifa, amakra bekodesh, be'esh tisra bekodesh tisra ve'en kol isurin shebatorah besrifa. There's a really interesting rule in Torah Shabbat Peh. If you teach the same teaching twice, so then if we don't use it here, use it somewhere else. If we don't use it for this specific case, we're going to use it for all the other Isurim B'Torah. Basically, what did we just say now? We said, you got to burn don't eat the chatat if you messed up the halacha, and burn it. Why are you telling me that? Tell me twice? Okay, you're right. So we must be talking about other Isurim B'Torah, that you can't eat them, you can't have benefit from them. If you don't need to teach it for the chatat, teach it for everything else. All the other things, like chametz b'Pesach, you can't eat it, don't benefit. Okay, so maybe you have to burn everything. Maybe you have to burn the shor haniskan, and maybe you have to burn the chametz. No, the pasuk says, "Bakodesh tisaref." If it's kodesh, if it's a korban, you got to burn it. All the other things you don't need to burn it. So here's from a third way of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, that learns out from the pasuk of the chatat. It's not so hard. It's not so hard, huh? It's a lot of shitot, but it's not hard shitot. We'll review them tomorrow. They will come to you. John, you're